IGN recently came out with a video reviewing Donkey Kong. They said it was a masterpiece. At least that's what I saw in the beginning of Tectone's video because I was curious what he was reviewing. And it looks, I'm very excited about it. It's looked good so far, but yeah, we're going to see what they have to say. Dude.
So I hear you
Switch
want a
does
new
need
3D
this.
Mario. If that means you're looking for a console-defining platformer with satisfyingly expressive movement, innovative mechanics that constantly evolve, and expertly crafted challenges that unleash the interactive potential between the two, then I'm beyond thrilled to share that Donkey Kong Bonanza is all of that and so much more. Bonanza is no mere side
Oh, yeah, dude. We needed this, bro. 100%, bro. Because the release lineup has been extremely weak. I do like that the Switch is backwards compatible. But without strong openings to other games, you know, on release, people are just going to be mostly underwhelmed. And I was extremely underwhelmed because, like, don't get me wrong, the backwards compatible is really good for me because I still have a bunch of Switch games I haven't beat. But just relying on, what do you call it? Mario Kart is just not enough for a lot of people because not a lot of people are into Mario Kart, even Nintendo fans, surprisingly. I played the Mario Kart. I thought it was fun, but it's not even, I'm not like super into it. It's not like my thing. It is fun, but it's not like my thing. I get like really involved into it. And I would say it's a very good game if you're into it, if you're into that type of stuff. But yeah, we needed more Nintendo IPs, especially with the launch of the new Switch. It's just, you know, it was very much lacking, and people were deservedly upset, or understandably upset, you know?
project from the team behind Super Mario Odyssey. It's a brilliant successor to that.
That's how you know it's going to be fucking super hard, bro.
Masterpiece. A
This shit's gonna go
tremendous
crazy.
reinvention for one of Nintendo's original mascots, a groundbreaking adventure in every sense of the word, and one of the best.
And you can really tell they've tried to stuff so many different things into this game, you know, with the completely destroyable environment, the ways that you can platform, the transformations, the mobility that your character gets,
3D
apps,
platformers
the skill
I've ever
tree.
played.
Dude, are we eating good? I'm eating good. I'm big, bro. This is making me huge.
Bonanza wonderfully honors DK's various incarnations
Hell
over
yeah,
the
bro.
decades while also fearlessly punching through a mountain to forge its own
Let's
path.
go, dude.
It
Hell
tells a
yeah,
light but
brother.
Sweet story about
Yeah,
DK and
brother.
his spirit
Alright, I'm
sidekick
playing it up a
Pauline
little bit, but
pursuing
I am
an
very
underground
excited.
legend that will allegedly grant them one wish. Pauline hopes to return home, while DK just wants more bananas. The
Hell
deeper
yeah.
the pair dives toward the planet core, the deeper the gameplay becomes. Nintendo builds each new 3D Mario around one big idea like Sunshine's Water Pack or Odyssey's Captures.
True.
Mario is nowhere to be seen here, but in that same tradition, Bonanza's fully destructible environments suit a hulking, rampaging gorilla far better than that plumber. And this exciting concept is truly fit for a Kong.
Yes.
Practically everything in this world is designed for DK to punch and break, and the extent to which Bonanza commits to letting you tear through its environment is both technically impressive and a ton of fun. DK is powerful.
Yeah, I will say this is a good look for the power of the Switch 2. Being able to just go in and just do, like, completely have fun with the environment and kind of push the limits of that. Because I don't think the Switch 1 could even run this well. I'd be surprised, maybe it can. But the level of destruction and, you know, the ways you can move about the environment, very impressive, very cool. Dude, they really went all out. Cool to get this Mario Sunshine. I mean, Mario, it was the, oh my god, my brain. The Mario game recently that released, okay? Don't, you know, put me on a cross, okay? But, yeah, I'm very stoked.
And that's
on it, dude.
regularly
Okay.
reflected across
Bottom
a
line.
fresh set of abilities that are endlessly enjoyable to pull off. Simply tearing a chunk from the ground, which you can do almost
Dude.
anywhere, leads to
Hell
so
yeah,
many
bro.
dynamic possibilities. DK can hurl it at airborne enemies, swing it to break through walls,
Just look
bounce
at
off
that.
it to double jump, or surf on it to get around faster and safely cross dangerous terrain. When he's empty-handed, he can punch in any direction, slap the ground to instantly gather loose gold and reveal nearby collectibles, and perform a satisfying roll-jump-roll combo cut from the same cloth as Mario throwing Cappy and bouncing off him for extra distance.
Yep.
Plus, he takes a page out of Link's book and can climb basically any non-slippery surface, granting an
It's
extra
like it is all of, oh my god. Is it Mario Odyssey? Yes, it is Mario Odyssey. Oh my god, thank you. It takes all of the good things in Mario Odyssey and cranks it up. You know, just like you were saying, you know, the mobility of like jumping on the cap and getting the extra distance, their creativity with that. Now you have the creativity to explore the region in whatever way you see fit by destroying the location and going through it. The speed that you can travel, you know, with your different skills, like dude,
sense of freedom to the
super
entire
cool.
journey.
Yep.
Crunchy sound effects that change depending on the material DK's interacting with make it even more entertaining to wreck stuff.
Hell yeah, brother.
Like the loud crumble of breaking down a sturdy wall of stone.
That's sick, man.
Or the juicy splash of tearing into a watermelon.
And just like different
the
ways
for doing all of this are so polished.
Like different challenges that completely like are very innovative and creative. Kind of like Astrobot to some degree, you know. I know Astrobot took a lot of ideas from Nintendo, but you know that game was very innovative, and you could definitely see it in
chain together a combo, everything sings in perfect
Not
harmony.
that they took it from that, but innovation in general. Okay.
Bonanza's levels are called layers, and each one is a sprawling playground constructed to maximize the potential of DK's destructive abilities.
Yeah.
There's so much to find both on their surfaces and tucked away in the hidden caves and tunnels you find by bashing your way through the environment.
Dude.
But Bonanza rarely relies on mindless destruction for the sake of it. Instead, it excels at rewarding discoveries by way of smart destruction, and it's remarkable how intentional and well-designed its dense vertical layers are. Visual cues masterfully draw your eye to areas worth exploring, similar to how veteran Zelda players know to place a bomb in front of any suspicious cracks. See a tantalizing fossil embedded in the wall? Chuck an explosive boom rock at it, and there's a good chance you'll reveal a new path to explore. Sure, the open-world nature of these maps means you can occasionally happen upon a collectible by skipping the intended puzzle entirely and just carving a tunnel straight.
Skipping the intended puzzle entirely. Just those words. And like, you know, I will always interact because I want to see how they've, you know, I want to see the work they've put into whatever they've made. But so personally, I don't like to skip that stuff because I like to engage with it and see how they've kind of pushed or, you know, changed their ideas and like how you can, you know, tackle these puzzles. But the option there, just like in Legend of Zelda, the ability to fight Ganondorf at the beginning, stuff like that, people really like the freedom, some idea of freedom of choice, you know?
To it. But in my experience, it didn't happen that often. It fits with modern Nintendo trends seen in games like Tears of the Kingdom, where the designers don't care how you get from point A to point B as long as you have fun doing it. On the other hand, Bonanza smartly walls off
but still, like I said, the freedom of choice, like being able to do different things.
Most of its main objectives behind.
But that's cool that you can do that. That they give you the option to do that. I like that idea. I do believe that not everything should be skippable. So I do think that's a good choice. So yeah, the fact that it's still there and you have the ability is really
terrain the nefarious Void Kong has turned indestructible. So it's not like DK can just punch his way straight to the end credits. What makes Bonanza's objectives more compelling is that it isn't really about destroying everything. Instead, it's about exploring, platforming, fighting, and collecting in a vast world where you can destroy everything, which is an important distinction.
Okay.
It never feels like a gimmick or the only tool you have, but rather one integral part.
A way that you can choose to interact with everything, which is pretty cool. And just giving that ability is so fun, man. Like, people really like, because the games have tried this gimmick over. It is kind of a gimmick to some degree. I've tried this idea, but they've made it part of the game world that it feels fundamental and fun to interact with. But like other games have tried it, and it always is like half-baked. The game I remember back on PS2, I can't remember the name, but you know, I do like the idea of like really just giving the option and actually working with it and making it some way that it makes it fulfilling to do, that it doesn't feel like a waste of time and like, why would I even bother?
Of Bonanza's larger design. I was rarely asked to create random tunnels with no guidance, and DK's upgradable sonar ability helped me find buried collectibles hidden to the naked eye. Pauline helps out with the search too, as she sings.
Now, I really hope he talks about the difficulty for the bosses. Are there harder, you know, at the higher end or at the end game? Is there enough difficulty that could keep you engaged later on?
Reveal waypoints to collectibles marked on your map. That keeps the hunt for completion focused and fun, even if the camera occasionally struggles with the weird.
And use all these abilities to their greatest extent. Like, is there going to be parts of that where you actually feel really engaged to use that? So
angles you force it.
It seems like, yeah, they give you freedom of choice. So you can choose to, and that's fun. but is there anything that's going to force you to use that in a dynamic way? That would be
Into when
kind of
digging
interesting.
yourself a nice hole. Romping around the sublevels is a blast, and the fact that I felt totally in control of the action, even with so much fast-paced chaos unfolding at any given time, is an impressive feat. I love how the world crumbles around DK. It makes everything feel more alive and really sells the heft of this character.
True,
Like the way he leaves a crater when crash landing after a lengthy fall.
Boom!
Every world
Yes,
has
that
something
feels
unique
good.
to offer both visually and mechanically, from the freezer layer's icicles you have to knock down to create platforms, to the resort layer's liftoff ore that sends DK soaring. And Bonanza never stops pulling fresh ideas off the vine. Without spoiling anything, I was stunned at the ingenuity on display as I dove to some of its late-game layers. There are tons of different material types that make up the world, with set rules.
This is showing already that, yes, you're going to have to engage to some degree with some of his abilities that can really change up the gameplay. To some degree, I would like to see more of the smashing open world stuff being engaged with in interesting ways. I know that you can explore with it and do different things with that, skip puzzles with it. That's already a good thing, but I would like to see just a little bit more, maybe like a boss battle that is kind of involved with it. That'd be kind of
to how they all interact.
But overall, it's already feeding what I was asking for, so again.
A simple example is how throwing ice onto lava creates a hardened rock platform. But the interplay between different elements gets more complex as you progress, and learning these relationships to solve increasingly smart puzzles is supremely gratifying.
There is this level in Mario Sunshine. I'm like super pausing this game. But like there's this level in Mario Sunshine that I always remember playing as a kid. And you had no water pack on it, and I don't know if I did this right, but the fact I was able to do it was pretty cool. I would jump in a fountain and wet myself and then like dry myself off like spinning and try to clear the area just using my body wetness to get ahead and clearing it very slowly. But I don't think it was intended to play like that, but the fact that I was able to do that was fun, and it was kind of in an engaging way to get around that level. I'm sure there's other ways to do it, but I like that freedom, you know.
Those puzzles are often found in standalone challenge rooms scattered across each layer. There's a nice mix
Mario Sunshine, did I say that? Yeah, I did.
of fights, logic puzzles, and platforming sequences that offer a welcome change of pace from the open-ended explorable layers themselves. I was consistently impressed with how the challenges take full advantage of Bonanza's systems.
So sick.
After more than 50 hours, I'm still finding new challenge rooms that mix and match enemies, materials, and
50 hours still playing. That's good news. You're getting a lot of your bang for your
abilities in
buck.
brand new ways.
And that's what I was asking for. Using your abilities in
One of
completely
my favorites
different
is
ways.
these boxes of blue and pink slime that
Cool,
are
dude.
inverses of each other, where destroying one fills in the matching part of the other. Bonanza builds several brilliant puzzles off this one idea and gets similar mileage out of every toy in its toy box, forcing me to think about something I'd already seen before in a new way. On its own, exploration is gratifying, but it helps that there are great rewards for finding Bonanza's heaps of collectibles as well. Fossils are used to buy region-specific outfits that give you perks and a fun, fresh look. You'll also collect mountains of gold, and while I was swimming in cash for the first several hours, trust me when I say collecting as much as you can will be worth it in the end. But the main collectibles are the Bonandium gems,
Menandians.
which are comparable to Odyssey's Power Moons in that they're plentifully stashed around in places that are often challenging to reach. Unlike Odyssey, though, Bonanza doesn't require you to gather a certain number of gems before moving on to the next area. Instead, collecting 5 earns DK a skill point, which can be used to upgrade his health, moves, and Bonanza transformations.
Cool.
The skill tree doesn't have a ton of...
But again, you know, how much you're gonna need that extra health? Is there gonna be things that really push
prizes,
it? You know?
but it's nice knowing that grabbing a gem is always working toward a specific short-term goal. There are tons of gems to find too.
There's a banana!
I had found literally hundreds by the time I cleared the main story after 20 hours. I've spent 30 additional hours collecting hundreds more, and likely have several hours left to reach 100% completion.
That's cool.
It's a massive undertaking, but with how enjoyable Bonanza is, I'm not slowing down until I've collected every last one. It's easy to track your progress as well, with a helpful list of your gems in each layer, and this really cool 3D map that accurately reflects the current state of the terrain you've destroyed. Unfortunately, that map does occasionally suffer from minor frame rate drops, as does the rest of Bonanza. The action
Yeah.
generally stays at a solid 60 FPS.
Hey, I'm happy you could do. You know, you could say whatever you want. Oh, it's kind of lame. You're like shilling out, fucking. But hey, if it's working, I'm surprised the Switch can even run something this intensive, in my opinion, because it is kind of intensive. This level of environmental destruction. So yeah, I
Yes,
mean, I'm
docked
surprised.
or
After all.
handheld, but it can briefly dip below that when you're going crazy with the destruction. It's not great that we're already talking about any amount of performance issues on Nintendo's brand new console, but
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like it's easy to say, and I'm gonna say it, cuck to say, some people may call it cuck to even give this a pass, but I do think it's tricky because I shouldn't. You shouldn't. Yeah, I gotta hold. I gotta hold. I feel like I should hold their feet to the fire, but just historically, their consoles have never been really that strong. So it's like I'm happy that we get this, but yeah, is there really an excuse for it? Is there an excuse for some, for this, especially in the debut of your new system? It's a little disappointing. Am I super upset about it? Personally, no, but it is a little upsetting.
it's never too noticeable or distracting either. Besides, it's easier to forgive.
It's not. That's good. If it's not that often, it's here and there. I'll take it, but it is a little shitty.
The occasional dropped frame when it's because so much beautiful chaos.
I just feel like it wouldn't be fair because there's a lot of games I would critique or criticize for not having the performance right on release. And this is the Nintendo's brand new game and their new console, and this is like one of their big releases. And if I give them just a pass because I'm happy that they finally got this level of destruction, I don't think it would be fair to the other games I get, more criticized for that. So it is a slight disappointment that they didn't have this on release, or it's not, based on what he's saying, of course. But I am still leaning on positive that they're even able to run the new system and run this game and push it personally. But I could understand people being upset. So
this is happening at once. And the ambition of this fully interactable, destructible world is definitely worth that trade-off.
Yeah, see, that's really
Bonanza
cool.
Really
Look
does
at that.
Look great, with expressive animations for DK himself, and colorfully detailed environments, NPCs, and enemies. It also constantly pulls inspiration from DK history, with fallen girders from the original Donkey Kong arcade game, and side-scrolling segments that reference classic Donkey Kong Country levels, including a lovely arrangement of Stickerbush Symphony that's just one tune in Bonanza's awesome soundtrack.
Aww.
This may
Very
be from
sweet.
the 3D Mario team, but Bonanza regularly pays respects to all of DK history, and at times feels like a modern follow-up to Rare's golden era from the Super Nintendo and N64.
Yes! Let's go! Old Rare coming back, dude. Hard. Let's do it, man.
Some
Please.
of the flashiest moments happen during DK's Bonanza transformations, a variety of time-limited power-ups.
Not really rare, but at least the feeling.
Dates. Kong Bonanza is essentially a souped-up version of DK, who
Yes.
can disintegrate harder materials you'd usually need a boom rock to break through. Zebra Bonanza is all about
Dude, I love the
speed.
beating of the chest, dude. That is icing on the cake, man. That is it, dude. That's what I need, okay? I need some big fucking gorilla beating down shit, beating his chest, throwing people around, and people know Kong is coming.
While Ostrich Bonanza lets you glide through the air. The character designs are hilarious, and each Bonanza is accompanied by a catchy tune performed by Pauline. They all feel fleshed out and great to control, and even better, you can instantly swap between them when you're powered up, giving you even more flexibility in how you want to tackle challenges.
Cool.
You can only enter a Bonanza if you have enough Bonanergy, but you'll pretty much always have enough.
That's what I was going to ask, how often you're having that, so that's good.
Admittedly, this can sometimes trivialize otherwise interesting puzzles in the overworld. For example, the puzzle to grab this gem surrounded by poison water can be entirely skipped by simply gliding to it. That fits with Nintendo's recent love of designing puzzles where...
But again, that gives you the freedom, as long as, like I said, there needs to be a good amount of difficulty later on at the end game. That, the more things that you have the freedom to have fun with or do your own way, that there are other things that will kind of put, at least scratch your brain, because you need that. You do need a bit of pushback. A game, I feel like, are pushing
Any solution
forward.
that works is a correct one, but Bananergy is so plentiful that using transformations can occasionally feel cheap compared to the fun of actually figuring an obstacle out. I was usually able to restrain myself from using these overly streamlined options, but if you were unable to resist Tears of the Kingdom's convenient but boring hoverbike, I could see them being a dangerous temptation. The sheer power of Bonanzas also come into play during the boss battles, which all have exciting designs, like this giant squid made up of dozens of smaller ones that looks ripped straight from Splatoon.
I
The
still haven't
decision
played
to give the big
Splatoon.
bads a traditional health bar instead of using the expose the weak spot, hit it, and repeat 3 times Mario template fits DK's brawler-focused style perfectly. Still, thanks to the Bonanza powers, I defeated some of newcomer Grumpy Kong's creations in less than 30 seconds. That said, the late-game bosses put up much more of a fight, so
Let's go! Woo! Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. No, but hey, that's what I want to hear. That's what we're here for. Need that difficult. Need that pushing.
it does eventually right the ship in that regard. Regardless, it's still fairly simple to reach the end credits if that's all you're looking to do. As with most Nintendo games, much of the enjoyment comes from surprise, delight, and poking around for secrets rather than white-knuckle difficulty. That's not a complaint, given how fantastic the mechanics are, and how many optional challenges
Yeah, like I'm not asking for, high level scratch your head Ninja Gaiden difficulty. That's not what I'm asking for. I'm asking for a good pushback, like a decent. I'm not asking you to like, hey, let's make this some FromSoft and Sekiro difficulty.
It presents often
Somewhere in the middle.
path for veteran players who
Little
want
bit
more
lower.
to sink their teeth into.
Or quite
And the
a
gloves
decent amount lower, but moderate. That's what
truly come off after the unforgettable.
I would like a game where they do that, but these types of games, I don't know. Maybe DLC, that would be cool. That's some things that make you have to be like, oh man, maybe challenges that other players can input, like Mario Maker. That'd be kind of
finale
cool.
of the story, with plenty of post-game content that continues to push you in more extreme, exciting ways. The leader of the bunch is finally back to kick some tail in Donkey Kong Bonanza, a brilliant successor to Super Mario Odyssey, and a smashing return for a classic Nintendo character. It was a bold choice to build the Switch 2's first 3D platformer around DK instead of Mario, but it's proven to be the best decision
Hey,
Nintendo could have.
dude, don't eat. Look, I like Mario, okay? I like Mario, I like all the soy Nintendo things, okay? It is what it is. But Donkey Kong needed a game. He needed it. The big gorilla needed it, okay? He needed some love. And by God, he's been granted some love. And I couldn't be more excited. I love Donkey Kong. He's been missing like a big thing for him. Kirby got one recently with Forgotten Land. Great game. I only played a little bit of it, but I heard it's a great game. I have the upgrade pack pre-ordered. Once I get the upgrade pack for it, I'm actually gonna go through the whole game. But glad that game got a lot of love. They got their own 3D game. That was really cool. Donkey Kong needs it. Donkey Kong deserves love. So
Made. DK's
Cool.
satisfying, expressive movement and powerful, dynamic abilities create a truly groundbreaking adventure. The ambitious, destructible layers of this underground world are densely packed with satisfying collectibles, abundant charm, and clever challenges that never seem to run out of smart ideas, even long after the credits have rolled. Bonanza is a constant crescendo across its 20-hour campaign and beyond, with puzzle platforming concepts that only grow richer as DK and Pauline dive deeper toward the planet core. Every element comes together in complete harmony to create Nintendo's first Switch 2 masterpiece.
all right.
Executive Reviews editor Tom Marks here with Logan
So that's embarrassing.
Player, reviewer of Donkey
I
Kong
don't care,
Bonanza,
actually.
to talk a little bit more about
I
his
don't care.
platforming tastes,
Make
all that.
fun of
If
me.
you've probably
Bring
seen
it
Logan
on,
around,
dude.
Especially if you've been following our Switch 2 coverage. Logan reviewed Mario Kart World for us, also Donkey Kong Country Returns HD before that, so no stranger to this ape. First, let's talk about What are just some of your favorite 3D platformers, and what do you look for in the genre?
Yeah, well, obviously the 3D Mario games is my favorite 3D platforming series. Odyssey specifically is my favorite 3D Mario game. I also love Galaxy 2 and 3D World, so more of a fan of some of the more
Cool.
recent 3D
So
Marios.
cool.
But I think what I look for in a 3D Mario and a 3D platformer in general is like really expressive movement that kind of
Yep.
allows for a lot of possibilities. Like Mario can backflip and wall jump and triple jump and do all these different things.
Yeah.
And Donkey Kong can do that too. That's a big thing that you just heard me praise. And then outside of Mario, I really like the Spyro trilogy. I like the remake that they did.
Dude, Spyro, man. I used to love those games as a kid. I've probably clocked in a disgusting amount of hours into those games as a kid. Would it hold up now? It doesn't sound as appealing personally. They would have to really innovate and change its gameplay for me to be interested. Kind of like how Donkey Kong did. Some really cool, crazy out there stuff. I would like a new Spyro game. But the very base, for me personally, okay, you know. Spyro fans, I'm sorry, guys. But this running and the fire blow and the charging, that was like mostly the gameplay, if I remember correctly. I played a good amount of them, but it's dude, I'm old, guys. I don't remember too well. So I'm sure a bunch of Spyro fans are gonna be lighting me up. But I would like to see some crazy innovation if they're gonna do Spyro, which I think they should. I think it deserves a comeback. They really should kind of innovate, change it.
That
Maybe more dragon-like, Maybe he's just flying around, destroying everything, and he has fire. You can do way different things with the fire. Really creative ideas, and there's monsters to really push that. That would be cool. I'm down for a Spyro game.
a few years ago.
For a big Spyro game that really innovates.
And
Really
I
innovates.
really enjoy the whole Astrobot series.
Astrobot.
I was there
amazing.
early with the original.
Still haven't beat it. I got decently far. I think I'm like 30 or 40%, maybe. I don't know. Loved it so far. We got to get back to it. I play so many games, guys. Okay, I play a lot of games. Super fun game,
Astro on PSVR. That game is amazing. I think that is my favorite VR game ever, and the things it does with 3D platforming in VR
Look
is really
at
cool.
this.
And then Astrobot last year was really great too.
Yeah,
If you had
true,
to pick between
true.
mechanics or level design, what do you think is more important in terms of? Obviously, they're both important, but
Yeah.
what do you think is kind of wins out in your mind of really great levels but simple mechanics, or really interesting mechanics but fairly simple levels?
Yeah, I think I like the really interesting mechanics side of it. I think that's why I prefer something like Odyssey and Bonanza to Astrobot. Astrobot has amazing spectacle and really great levels, but his mechanics themselves is mostly running and jumping and hovering. But
Sure.
Donkey Kong ripping chunks out of the ground and beating them against a wall and rolling off a
Yeah.
ledge. There's so
Super
many
cool.
options and choices, and this might be a cop-out, but the best is when they come together and those levels are designed around those mechanics, which is what stuff like Odyssey and Bonanza does so well.
That's what I was saying. Like, looks like they've really taken advantage of using your abilities and filling that out and just making it. That's the complete package, man. It's looking like a 10 out of 10. It is looking like a masterpiece. Is it this and Expedition 33 going head to head? For me, it's Expedition. Even if the game's amazing, just because, like, I'm a big story guy, personally, and it's a huge love letter to JRPGs, and the songs are amazing. The songs are great in this too. Are going to be amazing. Great. I'm sure Bonanza will be absolutely 10 out of 10. I think. Kind of speaking a little strong here, but Expedition 33, man, that hit everything for me. Absolutely beautiful game. Great ending. Great cast. Great voice acting, great music, just everything. Combat was engaging. Dude, like, man, you don't even get JRPGs like that anymore. And it took inspiration from one of my favorite RPGs of all time that never got continued for some reason, Shadow Hearts. Huge Shadow Heart fan. Giant Shadow Heart fan. And I still haven't played 2. I like the first one. I'm replaying through them to play 2. Okay, embarrassing. Okay, because I was a huge fan of the first one. I did play quite a bit of 2, but I don't remember any of it because I was a kid and I never beat it. So now I get to go back and I'm going to play through them. I am super excited. I really think they should remaster that and put that game out. But I digress.
let's talk about
continue.
Donkey Kong now more specifically. Obviously, I assume you're a fan of the Donkey Kong games, so
yeah.
what do you like about those specifically as well?
Yeah, Tropical Freeze is my favorite 2D platformer of all time. I think that is just
I have that. I haven't played it yet, so if it's that good,
incredible
hey.
level design, really nail-biting difficulty, really cinematic, almost Uncharted-like set pieces at times. And I think that the Donkey Kong Country games, what's so cool about them is how immersed you feel in the world itself. Like Donkey Kong Country, every platform is a part of the world. It's built into the background somehow.
That's sick, bro.
Mario just has floating blocks and platforms everywhere. Whatever, it's Mario, it doesn't matter. But Donkey Kong's world design is kind of a step above the rest, and I've always found that really cool. Plus the
Can you go over that one more time? Sorry, guys.
I think that the Donkey Kong Country games, what's so cool about them is how immersed you feel in the world itself. Like Donkey Kong Country, every platform is a part of the world. It's built into the background somehow. Mario just has floating blocks and platforms everywhere. Whatever, it's Mario, it doesn't matter. But Donkey Kong's world design is kind of a step above the rest, and I've always found that really cool. Plus the difficulty and the movement in Donkey Kong Country games has always stood out, and the music, really classic atmospheric soundtrack. So I love the Donkey Kong Country games, and Bonanza's close, but it definitely leans more Mario than Donkey Kong, I would say.
So let's talk about the big elephant score
I could see
in the
that.
room, which is that you gave this game a 10, and this is not only your first 10 you have ever given for IGN, but also the first 10 of...
Dude, DK fans, who's eating good? Who's eating good, guys? Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, anybody watching this? We're fed. We're looking chunky. We're looking big. Everyone wants to be us right now, okay? No, we're incredibly lucky. So happy about it.
2025, and the first 10 we've given in over a year. Just a peek behind the curtain, we don't really think about that when we are assigning scores to each game, right? Like we're not doling these out in a limited number. We don't have a quota to hit. There's nothing like that. We take them game at a time, and if the reviewer thinks a game deserves it, then that's what gets it. But this is, I imagine for you, there was still a bit of weight behind it, because my first 10 I gave to Celeste, and then my second, the only other 10 I've given was to Tears of the Kingdom. So there's,
Tears of the Kingdom I like so far. Actually, I just got it. Well, I've had it for a long time, but I just got the upgrade because I was gonna play through it and then stuff came up. But now I have more of a reason to actually go through it. It is pretty fun. It's a huge world, man. The one complaint I have, and I know maybe people might not be happy about this, what I have to say next, but like the big things with these Zelda games back in the day was those dungeons, man. Very immersive, huge, like very interesting puzzles they had to go through as a kid, man. And it was like sometimes you were scratching your head, and these dungeons were huge, man. It made you really push yourself. And they were just they had huge character. And we don't really get that with the new ones, I feel like. It's just not there. I hope the next Zelda game they really push that. Like, I would like more. I think I'm only in the beginning now in Tears of Kingdom, but there was only one dungeon so far that was semi that, but it's still, I don't feel like it's still the level of like Ocarina of Time dungeons or yeah, mostly that. I didn't play Majora's Mask, so I played only a little bit and then I got distracted. But, I just feel like that is one thing I would like to see the next Zelda do. Like, put out more dungeons that really tackle that. Because all the little dungeons are fun, and they're creative. Like them, great. But I would like at least, like, 3-4 of these big dungeons that really are really, like, interesting and make you use your moveset and are really cool. I should say 3 or 4 more, because they have, like, ones that are decent. The first one did. In the second one, I had one that was like semi, but I would like more of those really bigger than life dungeons.
Oh, there's
Personally,
a weight, at least for me.
Love the game though. Don't get me wrong.
How did you feel about giving your first 10?
Oh yeah, I don't give 10s lightly. Like I think I'm fairly critical in a lot of respects, and so for something to kind of cross that
I would say Tears of the Kingdom is definitely, but I'm only in the beginning, so I don't know.
threshold.
And I don't remember Breath of the Wild. They had a couple of dungeons that were decent that I really liked, but again, they just didn't have enough. I feel like compared to the whole world, yeah.
To get a 10, which doesn't.
But I thought it was an amazing game. Absolutely amazing game. Just like Tears of the Kingdom.
I mean, it's perfect, right? I outlined multiple issues with Bonanza in the review,
Sure.
but to just cross that.
And notably, in our score scale, 10 means masterpiece. It does not mean perfect.
Yeah, exactly. And so Bonanza got there for me just because.
That's fair. That's interesting. I always wondered that about, because sometimes they hand out these 10s like chocolate, and then other times they don't. And I'm like, okay, what constitutes like a 10? Like, and people were like, oh, it had this issue, this issue, but people would still be like, oh, well, it's still a 10. Because it's like, it hits every spot that you want it
For
to.
so many reasons, but really, it made me feel a certain way that games haven't since Tears of the Kingdom or since Super Mario Odyssey, two games that we have given 10s out of 10. There are moments in here that are so special and so incredible, and some of the best moments in Nintendo history.
Awesome.
I just think the pure idea of this platformer that I was a little worried initially was going to be just about breaking walls and punching your own tunnels and kind of Minecrafting your way through a Donkey Kong world, how curated it is and how smart its tunnels are designed. And you see a piece of gold on the wall, you punch it, it reveals a tunnel, it guides you through. It's almost like the developer's hand guiding you like in a Metroidvania at times. It's so smart. And I've played this game for over 50 hours at this point. I filed my review to you after 40, and I just kept playing to kind of lock in that 10 in my head. And the more I'm thinking about it, it's like, man, if I don't give this a 10, I don't think there's anything I could ever get a 10, because the bar would just be too high. Like, this game is so special and so cool, and such a groundbreaking, pun intended, start for Donkey Kong, kind of after 10 years away from the spotlight. It's amazing, and I love it so dearly. I think I might like it more than Super Mario Odyssey, which is a huge statement for me. That's what my
Whoa! That's a loaded, very loaded thing to say.
my favorite games of all time. So yeah,
Hey. Honestly, it does look like an upgrade from here, so we'll have to see, though. We'll have to see.
I lost sleep over the score. I definitely was weighing between a 9 and a 10 for a time, but I try to go through the months and months of discourse that's to come in my head on my own as I'm writing this review. Like, okay, you got to go through the cooldown period, you got to go through the heat backup period, and then, yeah, this is where I landed. It's one of my favorite games ever.
Well, Logan, thank you.
Yeah, I feel like games are hard to review because you have to, like, sometimes after you're done playing them or you get a good chunk through them, you have to, like, really think about if it actually failed in meeting some of the expectations, how you felt doing them at the time and after, what you think about them, and like how they stacked up to other games, and or is it actually innovation? Is it actually interesting? Same thing. I have that same problem with movies. Like, I'll think a movie's really great when I first watch it. That's why I don't like to give out my thoughts when I first watch a movie, because a lot of times sometimes I'll think a movie's great, and then after I stew on it, like, I'll sit on it for like a day or two. I'm like, the more I think about it, it didn't do this right, didn't do this right, didn't do this right. And, you know, as fun as it was, because when I first saw it, it was cool. It didn't really, it does miss a lot. It has a lot of missteps, and it shouldn't be ignored. Still, maybe I enjoyed it. Maybe it's a fun ride. Maybe it's a fun movie. But as far as if you try to look at it like through the lens of like being, what's the word I'm looking for? Objective, then, you know, that's up to you. Now, how objective should you look at some of these things? That's another question you have to kind of think about, and what that means. But, you know, sometimes you got to think about, you know, these things before you put them out there. So I'm glad that he actually thought about this and he came to a conclusion and say, hey, this is it. It nailed everything I was going for perfectly.
So much for
really
digging
cool.
a little bit
Really
more into
cool.
your platformer tastes, your Donkey Kong tastes, all that good stuff. If you want to hear Logan talk even more about Donkey Kong Bonanza in a little bit more depth, we had an episode of Nintendo Voice Chat, our Nintendo podcast that Logan hosts, going up at the exact same time as this review, that you can go and watch a longer discussion, really digging into this game. On top of that, if you want more Switch 2 stuff, like I mentioned at the top, Logan has reviewed Mario Kart World. You can go check out his review of that, or you can go check out my own review of the Switch 2 itself. We have all of that and more about the Switch 2 coming up. So for everything Nintendo, games, whatever, stick with IGN.
All right. I'm really excited about it. I think we're in for a treat. Tell me what you guys think in the comment below. I do think, you know, he's pretty fair, it seems like, in his review. And he's thought about it. So that's really cool. I hope that it scratches any Donkey Kong fans itch in the series, because for me, it did a lot of things that are an homage to the old games and just looks super fun. Anyways, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, tell your family and friends about me. Take it easy, guys. Bye.